And really, what's the point? We get so fascinated with other people's opinions that we become complacent with our own. How do I feel about this situation? I know the truth. I'm pretty sure that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Some of that stuff's been there for years. Like, there's a lot of issues that we think, oh, it's been 2 years, it's not bothering me anymore. It's bothering you. And then I get on here and I'm trying to be so real all the time. Oh, I'm in the realest way. This is in the realest way. But is it in the realest way? If everything in your life is fake. Welcome back to In the Realest Way Podcast by Marqes Smith, where we talk about so many topics in the realest way. On this podcast episode titled Complacency, I'm going to discuss a lot of issues that have been going on in my life recently. A lot of them due to complacency, things I used to do before, and now that it's not necessarily needed at the level of intensity, I no longer do it. It faded away. And one thing I recommend anybody, including myself, is to, if it's a healthy habit and you miss one day, don't try to miss another one. I know we can't help some things sometimes, but don't try to unintentionally, if it's something that's healthy, to just let it go away, because I promise you it's going to fade. I stopped reading books when I was in Korea. I should have kept reading books. But we used excuses of circumstances, whether environments or people or, anything. And we look at them and we're like, okay, well, this happened. So now I'm not, I guess, tied to what I was doing before. Our minds will find a way to get us out of a cycle that is causing us, to be uncomfortable. Complacency comes from wanting to feel comfortable, wanting to, stay in that place of where we already were. Because our minds already understand that this is what we're used to. This is what we know. And it may not be the healthiest, but it's something that you know what to expect in this environment. You go over here to a whole nother environment where you're working yourself out. Your body doesn't know whether you're going to be safe or not. Of course, it's putting these delusions in your head about all these different things that could happen. And that's what goes on with me. I have numerous things that stopped once I left Korea. One was working out. I used to work out all the time. I had a schedule. I would go to the gym when I had free time, and I would go there and I would work out. And I stopped when I got here. I stopped pushing myself physically. I had an excuse not to do something anymore, and I chose to not do it anymore. But those things have an effect on your body. Not taking care of yourself. Another thing is hanging around people who don't have any self-control. And that's just the truth, right? We tend to lose the control that we have because energies and, spaces, they truly do matter. So being around people who are constantly overindulging or over, spending or anything, it does have an effect on you. Now, I'm not saying those people are bad people. I'm not saying you're a bad person for losing what you had before. But it's important to keep these things in mind when you think about the lifestyle that you want. If you want to be successful in anything that you do, complacency will never be the answer. Now, sometimes you need to pause. You need to understand what's going on before you act. That is different. Because you're evaluating the situation and you're trying to move forward with the best possible plan. Complacency is you understanding that this is the best route, but I'm gonna decide to not go to the gym today, maybe eat some potato chips and play video games and just waste away. That's what you decide to do. Now, I'm not saying you can't have an off day. Complacency, it doesn't mean that you have to always be working. Oh, you're saying, Smith, I always have to be going to the gym. I always got to be reading a book. No, not all the times. Our bodies need rest, even with the healthy things, Too much of something is never good. No matter how good it is, you could love something to death and literally be the death of it. An example, overwatering a garden. Oh, I love this garden so much. I'm going to water it so much. It's going to grow so strong. Now it's flooded. Now it can't even grow correctly. Now it's dead because you gave too much. In anything that we do, it's important to have a intention behind it and a plan. A couple of things that I need to do, like I already stated, is nothing more simple than just going back to the gym. I live in an apartment. There's a gym literally in my amenities. I can go to the gym. I can work out in my own apartment. You can work out in your house, right? These things, there's a workaround. And just because it can't happen a certain way doesn't mean it needs to stop. Another thing, reading. I'm always on my phone. Granted, all my stuff is, being transported from Korea or at my grandma's house, but I can still read. I can still get an online book or something. There's always something that you can do. But we can't. I used to be the person, I said it before, I used to be the person who would just sit here and blame everybody else for my wrongs, for my failure and not succeeding in life. Oh, it was this reason, it was that reason. Never did I fully ever, revolve it to, actually, it was you. We can transition it to relationships. Nobody has the amount of power that you think that they have in your life. I was having a conversation with somebody today about a situation that was happening, and I'm the type of person where I'm like, what's the solution, right? I'm trying to listen to you, right? Because I care about what you have to say. I care about your feelings, they're valid. But what's the solution? The conversation about over-proving yourself, overextending yourself, trying to explain yourself to people who already have a decision about you. We can't allow those people who already have a fixed mindset to change how we look at life and what we're doing. Because regardless of what you're doing, they're always going to see something else. They're always going to see something else. And really, what's the point? We get so fascinated with other people's opinions that we become complacent with our own. How do I feel about this situation? I know the truth. I'm pretty sure that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Complacency can be found everywhere, anywhere. I've seen grown people who've lived an entire life never fully achieving all that they could achieve. They never got to do the things that they wanted to do. Now they have obligations that, unfortunately, it's hard to just leave. So I just hope anybody who's listening to this podcast, you go out there and you do things that are fulfilling to you. Who knows? We may live another life, but in this life, choose to live. I don't ever want to be complacent. We have so much to give to not only ourselves, but to other people. Why not give it? What's the point? What's so special about holding all of what you are to yourself? To live a lonely life. I give. And I keep giving. There's always going to be more of me. As long as I'm going through, the respective channels of respecting myself. I've always got more to give. If my cup's filled up, and I got more, why can't I give more? Why am I holding it to myself? Another thing is that we get complacent with our gifts. I'm a people person. I can, 9 times out of 10, I can walk into any situation with any group of people, right? When I was in high school, I was with the nerds. I was with the jocks. I was with the, I was everywhere. I had a clique, but I was able to go to these different places and groups and just be myself, and people respected that. Not individuals, but more of the general public. They saw me. That's just a gift that I have, and there's plenty of other gifts. Clearly podcasting is one of them, speaking, but we have so many gifts, but we become complacent on them. We make art or anything, there's so many gifts that we have that we just choose not to do or to experience at least one time. We feel like there's one way to live life, and it's not. There's no one way to live. The road is never the same. And sometimes we get complacent on the road that we choose. Oh, this is the road I've always been on. I've always done it this way. Why would I change it? Because maybe it doesn't work anymore. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Change it up a little bit. Do something different. Who knows? Maybe that's what you need to do. I've never seen anybody become successful and they continue to do the same thing over and over and over, not even changing it slightly and expecting a different result. Now, there is power in consistency, but not complacency. So before I end this podcast, I have a lot of updates coming soon. I have a clothing brand that's going to be coming out hopefully in October. This is a new experience for me. I'm doing it myself, so I'm just trying to get into it, okay? I'm just trying to see what it can do. But I'm still waiting on my household goods. I'm trying to just see if there's any more updates about, my life and stuff. But I've just been slowly learning and living and honoring the version of myself that I am right now, respecting it. It's a beautiful thing to grow and love and learn. It is. Don't be complacent, y'all. Choose to do better and be better for the world too. We find ourselves complacent with people suffering in the world that it's not revolving around us, so it doesn't matter. It's not our family. It's not, our neighbors. So why do we care? Why not care? These people, they're people. They had lives. They went to school. They used to drive to work. They used to be in the car listening to the music, the radio with their friends and their family. The same things that we do. Yet they can't do it anymore. Yet we have the privilege of saying, what does that have to do with me? What do you mean? Anything that happens to anybody else will soon happen to you. We are never safe. Never. Nobody is free until we're all free. So like I say at the end of every podcast episode, I give thanks to the utmost, to the highest power, God. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. I am truly, truly grateful. This is NTheRealestWay Podcast. Out. Some people, I know you're not a hillbilly. I know you're not a hillbilly. I know you're not a hillbilly. I'm just